Hi, I'm Barth Thielbar. I'm here with David Ratcliffe, the Chairman, President, and CEO of Southern Companies. Thank you for joining me today, Mr. Ratcliffe.
Thank you.
And thank you for presenting at the conference as well. As has been discussed at the conference over the last couple of days, the industry is facing a number of challenges. We have issues related to carbon capture, cap and trade, other environmental concerns. We have issues related to the development and build out of the smart grid, and as well as infrastructure related to transmission and even increased distribution. Among all of those challenges, and even ones that I haven't mentioned, which do you view as the most significant?
Well, it's hard to pick and choose, and in fact, I don't have the luxury because we have to work on all of them and manage all of them. I suspect that the most impactful question that we'll try to answer at the next 3 or 4 years will be what we want to do about climate change policy as a nation, because it has such broad implications on the entire economy and certainly for our choices for technology going forward. Getting that, quote, right in some sense of balance and equity, and that allows us to continue to do what we do reliably, but also allows our customers to afford it in an already stressed economy is going to be a major challenge. I think that's probably the biggest one.
Right, balancing all the constituents' needs. Since we're in Washington, it's probably fitting that I ask what Congress, the Obama administration, as well as other federal and state regulators can do to help you achieve that goal.
Well, I think what we always try to do as an industry, working with the Congress and even federal policymakers through the administration or the Congress, and even at state level, is to try to have people understand our industry, and to the extent they want to try to decide policy issues, to make sure that we give them the best objective information about the impact and the ramifications of their policy. So the thing that I would encourage them to do is to pay attention to what we're saying and to understand and work hard, which I know is tough because they're dealing with all kinds of different issues. Ours is no easier than healthcare or defense policy or other things. It's complex, and they got a lot of complex things. So I would hope that they would depend on us to be objective in the input.
Right. Last year and continuing into this year, the Obama administration, Department of Energy, and other federal agencies have released a number of stimulus grants that are designed to help move the industry forward as it relates to infrastructure build-out, smart grid development, and so forth. From your perspective, how effective are those stimulus grants being, or will they be in the coming months?
I think it's early to try to determine that they are either effective or ineffective, because it's one thing to say we're going to allocate or appropriate the money. It's another thing to get the money through the governmental process of actually being distributed. And that takes working with the agencies to determine what projects make sense. They have to do some analysis on which projects have the best potential return and would make the most benefit for the society. Then once you decide on a project, you have to negotiate the terms and conditions of the project. It's easy to criticize the slowness of the process. On one hand, as a taxpayer, I'm desirous of the government and the agency being deliberate and thorough in funding good projects and then making sure that those projects actually deliver under the terms and conditions of the deal. So it's early for us to pass judgment. We all want this money to move faster and to get deployed faster for the benefit of the economy, create jobs, and to do what we're trying to do. I think we have to be a little patient, at the same time create a little tension to try to incent this to move faster.
Right. Now, there's been some industry conversation about the effect of tax treatment on those stimulus grants. Do you have any comment related to that about how that may influence?
Well, we've been very clear with the DOE folks in our space about the fact that we don't think these should be taxable grants. I mean, that sort of defeats a major portion of the idea of getting the money, as much of the money out there to produce as much of a stimulus as you can. If you create a tax, in our case, we're about 30% tax situation. So I mean, immediately 30% of the money is not available. That's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it seems kind of like give and take a little. Well, thank you, Mr. Ratcliffe. Appreciate your time today and your willingness to be interviewed.
Thank you.
David Ratcliffe, Southern Companies.